Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
I'm I.J. Rosenberg, president of Score Atlanta. I want to welcome you to the first edition of the Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613. We're going to be here Monday through Friday from noon to 1 in our new TV studio here in Roswell. The show's going to be formatted very differently than a lot of shows that you've seen. But we'll be covering all the high school sports, especially football, volleyball, and softball, as well as cross country in the fall. Then we'll move to basketball. Then we'll move to baseball and soccer. We got recruiting. We got tons to talk about. Yeah, we really do. I'd like to introduce my co-host. We're going to be switching around hosts, doing different things. You're going to see some NFL Hall of Famers come in here with Najee and myself. We're going to use some people that you're very familiar with. But this first week, we wanted to sort of do it with Score Atlanta. We've got our big crew in here that's worked very hard. I want to thank Roddy White and Matt and all the different people that have made this studio a reality. This is something that we've been worked on for about 3 months. There's a lot of different ways to watch this show. First, Peachtree Sports Network. I mean, they're the sister station of Peachtree TV. We've been on, our football games have been on Peachtree TV for the last 5 years. We have one every Friday night on PSN. We'll also be available on Xfinity. So you'll be able to watch the Peachtree Sports Network on Xfinity, on YouTube television, on an over-the-air channel at 17.2. Of course, we've got the Atlanta News First app, and really want to thank the people at Atlanta News First. They're our partners, Gray Media, and they've been great. Eric and Tiana and Jason Braverman, all the people over there. So we want to thank them for getting this going. Well, you can also watch this on the National Federation High School Network, which has been out there for many years, as well as Zeam, which is a CBS streaming portal. We'll also do an encore edition every night at 11 p.m. on the Peachtree Sports Network, so you can watch this show while you're headed to bed. And of course, you can also go to scoreatl.com, and at the top right corner, you can check out a green tab, the How to Watch tab. You can push on that, and you can find the show. Najee, we've been working on this for a while.
Yes, sir.
You know, you do a lot. You're doing some radio now. Yes, sir. You do our games on Friday night. You handle a lot of our rankings and different things. You're doing things for Georgia Tech recruiting. Just talk about having a high school daily show. I mean, I don't know that that's ever been done.
No, I don't think so. And I think what's so exciting about it is you could talk about any sport, right? You talked about the basketball, softball rankings going to have, volleyball rankings, obviously our football rankings. And I feel like you just get to have it all in one place. You can come and see high school sports on a big stage. And then we get to feature these kids, get them out there, give them exposure, and talk about the latest headlines in this great Peach State.
Yeah, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to let kids come in here, whether they're playing football or softball or whatever, basketball. If they want to come in here and do their, announcement on where they're going to go to school live, I think something like that's going to be, really, really cool. All right, we're going to start every show with what we call the fast break headlines from around the state. And we've got a couple of sad ones to start off with. First of all, Bremen quarterback Carson Kimball was injured in a game on Friday night. The school confirmed. Per several reports, the school's principal, Tim Huff, said that he was rushed to the hospital and that the athlete had no feeling in his lower body. Said the principal, sometimes you see a hit and you think it's a shock and awe. He said it wasn't that. But Kimball did pass several tests on Sunday. He's at Grady Hospital and has been surrounded by and supported by friends and family. The team is also, I know there's a GoFundMe page for him, and they've also, the players are starting to sell Carson Strong t-shirts to support him. So, Score Atlanta just wants to send, our love and our prayers out to him and his family.
Yes,
the other story, Pike County's Peyton Rivera, played for the Pirates. He passed in a car crash on Friday. The Pike County head coach also lost a player last year when he coached for Manchester before their state championship name. His name was Brandon Smith. Rivera, who we lost on Friday, was a senior, was a key member on the defense for the Pirates. He was a good kid. The coach said Peyton had a smile that would light up the room. He was a leader on and off the field and made our school better just with his presence. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. student, staff, and community during this difficult time, Principal Kevin Huff Stedler wrote. And of course, our hearts here go out to him.
Yes, sir.
Want to turn to some more of the breaking news, Najee?
Let's do it. So at number 3 is Kareem Hughley of the Gainesville Red Elephants. So he started his first year with Gainesville this year. They had the first 4 of their games were on the road. But he's been outstanding so far. He got, obviously, one of our players of the game this past week, threw for 365 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's not easy to do. And then, for number 4, we'll move to Keon Standiford. That is Athens Academy. He showed out this past week, 4 touchdowns in their win. He had 9 catches, 284 yards, and those 4 touchdowns. He's only a sophomore, and right now his numbers are looking really, really good as well.
All right, last time, James Johnson, last big headline. James Johnson, receiver for the Douglas County team, really all-around player, returns punts, kicks off on Friday. He commits to the USC Trojans. What happens? The USC Trojans go out and beat LSU.
Yes.
So maybe
it's a great matchup.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Maybe he has something to. So congratulations, Douglas County, of course, #1 ranked team in Class 6A. All right, we're going to go to our Inglet and Stubbs electrifying plays of the game. This comes from Friday night when Gainesville went to Westlake to play. You could watch that game on the PSN Network, Sports Network. 40-yard touchdown pass from Gainesville's Kareem Hughley to senior receiver Tad Smith for the first touchdown of the game. Taz's dad, by the way, played 6 seasons with the Sioux. And then the second big play, senior receiver Jeremiah Ware takes it for the touchdown with exceptional blocking from his teammates. Gainesville ran away with the game 41-7 over Westlake. For our first interview of the show, we did this back when we were doing a lot of podcasts. Back during COVID in 2020, we had Robin Hines on as our first interview, and he sort of stuck with us, and we sort of helped everybody with Robin through COVID. But for our first interview of the show, I want to welcome in our new GHSA Executive Director, Tim Scott, from his offices in Thomaston. I was lucky, Tim, to have lunch with you last week. It was very, very enjoyable. I want to welcome you to the Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613. Tim, you haven't been in but for a few months. But, what's been your biggest challenge so far?
Hey, good morning, IJ. It's learning, I think. There's a lot here. There's a lot that this office does. It's a small office, and the people in this office pump out a whole lot of work. So the learning curve has been rather large, but been very fortunate that Dr. Hines is helping me through that. And we're just making sure that we continue the progress that he has been doing, and that we stay on the right track to provide our athletes and our constituents, those folks, with a fine product.
Tim, we're talking to the new GHSA Executive Director. But Tim, tell us just a little bit about your background. You've been a lot of different places. You've filled a lot of big roles in school systems. But talk a little bit about that.
Well, I feel very fortunate that I coached for over a decade, and then I have been a assistant principal, assistant superintendent, and for over 6 years was a superintendent before taking this role. And I've served in South Georgia, Middle Georgia, the metro area, and the North Georgia mountains. So I've kind of been all over the state in my service with the different districts that I've worked with.
Well, tell everybody where you played. We talked about this at lunch because the 3 of us, Robin Hines and yourself, went to lunch last week. But tell everybody where you played football and sort of where you went from there.
Well, high school football. I played with Northside High School in Warner Robins, so that was good. And then was on the West Georgia team back in the early 80s.
Now, Tim, like Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, you're stepping into some pretty big shoes. I mean, Robin did a good job. I know I really enjoyed working with him. Like I mentioned earlier, he really guided the state through COVID, which I think was really key. But he's going to stick around for a while and help you out, isn't he, Tim?
Yeah, listen, I've known Robin for a long time, and I'm thankful to call him my friend and ask him, when I was fortunate enough to take on this role, if he was going to retire, if he would just hang in there and help me. and work through some things, a legislative session especially that starts in January. And with his guidance, he's done an exceptional job in his time here. And so I'm very fortunate that I get to lean on him and learn from him. And he mentors me, and we work through that, a lot of things together.
Now, Tim, we're 3 weeks into football season. And of course, I got a chance to see at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic. But talk a little bit about what you've seen so far and sort of some of the things that you like.
Well, the first thing, our coaches, our administrators, and our schools are doing a great job in the events that they've been at. Being at Mercedes-Benz, and that was a super classy event, outstanding for our athletes in the state of Georgia. And then I've been at 2 large games since then, the Noonan East Coweta game and then the Northside Warner Robins game this past weekend, which were really big events with a lot of fans. And they just do an excellent job of putting on an event that's classy and that people enjoy going to. And it's stellar for our athletes.
We're talking to Tim Scott, new executive director for the GHSA. I'm going to let you go in a second, but I do want to bring this up. We had a player injured seriously in Bremen Friday night. And a lot of people don't realize, but the GHSA has an insurance policy on all student athletes in the state that play for the GHSA. I know you're following this one closely. It's a sad story, Tim.
Yes, sir, it is. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and the team members of this athlete. And I'll tell you, it's especially for us, it's really, really tough. We're thankful that we do have the catastrophic insurance, and we do all we can to try to make sure we keep athletes safe. But again, our thoughts and prayers are just out to the Carson and his family and that community.
Well, listen, Tim, we're going to be checking in a lot with you. We appreciate it. It was great meeting you the other day, and I know myself and everybody at SCORE Atlanta looks forward to working with you.
Hey, thank you, IJ and Najee. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
You too. All right, we're going to take our first break, but when we come back, we're going to talk to the new high school football rankings with Najee and Craig Sagers. There's been some big movement, especially in 6A, where North Gwinnett is making the big move.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know, just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision, our team brings it to life.
The Georgia Sheet Metal JETC equips apprentices with the knowledge and skills required to start a rewarding career in the sheet metal industry with programs in HVAC, industrial welding, and testing, adjusting, and balancing. Training is 100% free and allows apprentices to earn as they learn. Journeymen graduate with no student debt and have the potential to earn more than most college graduates. Visit our website to learn more about this opportunity at careersinsheetmetal.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, I want to welcome everybody back to the inaugural Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by our friends at IBEW Local. 6:13. Typically on Mondays, guys, and I want to welcome in Craig Sager, of course, Najee Wilkins in with us now to talk football rankings. Typically on Monday, we will do our football rankings in the second segment, but because of Labor Day, we're switching it today. We didn't want to miss the rankings because there's been a lot of movement. By the way, Score Atlanta handles all the rankings for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution except the football rankings. Our friends at the Georgia High School Football Daily, the morning newsletter, who we are partners with on this show, handle those rankings. But both you guys, really take care of the football rankings, and I know that's something that on Saturdays, y'all both start doing. But there was a lot of movement this week. Let's start off with 6A. Of course, the big story there was the North Gwinnett win over Colquitt County. I don't think anybody thought that North Gwinnett was going to go down there to Moultrie and win that game.
That's right. And what I really like about that win, if you remember, they opened up the season in the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic, got the big win over McEachern, then they had the bye. So this was only their second game of the season. They go down there. The defense played outstanding, and Colquitt got within the 10-yard line twice, only got 3 points out of it, and avoided the first shutout since 2009. That is not a team that usually gets held out of the end zone. North Gwinnett's defense is the real deal, and then we also saw them win the 7-on-7, so that offense can get going.
And then they got a big matchup this upcoming week, too. According to our rankings, they're going to play number 3 North Gwinnett is going to play Mill Creek in a much-watched game between those two teams. Craig, how excited are you for that one?
I think it's going to tell us a lot. Both defenses are outstanding. Mill Creek is a very durable team. They're great in the second half. They get better as the game goes on. But really, the energy that Coach Godfrey has brought to this North Gwinnett team, he's got his son Jake playing on that defensive line. So much talent. And when they need that big play defensively, they have stepped up. They can come up big on third down.
I was impressed. We had Mill Creek and Norcross on as our Great Atlanta Bash game. And I really felt like Norcross had a chance to win that game. But Mill Creek defensively, Norcross made a couple of mistakes. But, Mill Creek, of course, won the state a couple of years ago. But impressed with this team.
Yeah, and I think with Mill Creek, what they do so well, you saw with Luke Metz, the big defensive prospect, coming in on offense, getting a few touches. They're very creative at using defensive guys in these two-way roles. I think the same thing sort of true with North Gwinnett. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, but they have a mobile quarterback, tons of weapons, and then defensively, that's where the team has confidence. We talked to their coaches after the big Corky Kell win. They said, listen, we think we have a chance to win it all this year.
All right, so real quickly, 6A, Douglas County, Carrollton, North Gwinnett, Valdosta, Mill Creek's number 5, Camden, I think you dropped Camden to 6. Camden County 6. Buford 7, Colquitt County dropped down to number 8, Collins Hill, and then of course Walton sticks in there despite their loss. Najee, let's move to 5A. Of course, Milton, who may be the best team in the state.
I really think they're going to have an argument where you can see this team playing nationally. A couple of years ago, you've seen Collins Hill. They went on the road and played a national team, for a national championship. I think you can see the same with Milton. Milton already has an out-of-state win. They beat American Heritage in a really good game. Got one of the best quarterbacks in the state in Luke Niggle. They look good. They put a beating on Alpharetta, beat them pretty good this past week. They're just like a well-oiled machine on both sides of the ball.
Well, and I told you, I was at the Touchdown Club. Their first, I met Ryan speaking last week at the Piedmont Driving Club. They had 4 offensive players, on their preseason all-state team. They had the quarterback, of course, the receiver, the big lineman, and I think they've got 2 tight ends that actually could play college football. So they're loaded. So real quickly, Class 5A, and please jump in here, Najee, if you want to talk about any of these teams. Milton, Hughes, we talked about a big game they've got coming up. Number 3, Gainesville. I'll tell you, that's a team to watch. They were extremely impressive on our game of the week Friday night. And then, of course, Thomas County Central, Coffee, Houston County, who played in Corky Kell, who I like a lot, Lee County. That's Coach Fabrizio's team. Roswell is number 8. 9, Rome finally plays. They have the bus accident. They have to take 2 weeks off. We miss them in Corky Kell. And then number 10, East Paulding.
Real quick, I just want to mention before we go to 4A, Hughes is going to play, obviously, number 1 Douglas County this week on GPB, so that's a must-see game, obviously, for them. I think, Hughes has a really good offense. and Douglas County has all those weapons, so that's a must-see game this upcoming week.
All right, Craig, 4A, you've got North of Coney on top of that one.
That's right. So I had Perry at number 1. They're obviously coming off a state title. They lost a tough game to Houston County. It's not uncommon for Coach Smith. They are a little young at the quarterback position. I think Houston County is a really talented team, but what I like about North of Coney, they have just gotten better and better every single season. This was a team that had never made it past the first round about 4 years ago. They make it to the second. Last year they come up just short. They're so conditioned. The weight room, the nutrition, that is the staple of that program. They're prepared for that long run, and you look at the results early in the season, the big win over Coney County. I think they're a very talented team, but the rest of 4A, I got to give Marist credit. I went to the BT Marist scrimmage. They didn't look that good. It was just a scrimmage, but their resume through the first 3 weeks of the season is unbelievable, and that shutout that they had on Woodward Academy last week, it was enough to bump them up to number 2.
All right, so real quickly, 4A, North of Coney's on top, Marist, Cartersville. BT gets a huge win over Prince Avenue Christian at Prince Avenue Christian. They're number 4. Cass is number 5. Like you said, Perry dropped from number 1 to 6. Ware County, Eastside, Warner Robins, and Benedictine at number 10. Najee, let's move to Class 3A. Where you've got Sandy Creek on top?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think they're one of the top teams here in the state in 3A. They've handled business. They beat LaGrange 27-7. So there's a lot of shuffling in this one, but I feel like they're the best team right now. Long County makes their debut after their 42-0 win against Johnson-Savannah, and then Mary Persons also makes their debut in this poll. Both teams look good, and both are undefeated.
All right, Class 3A, Sandy Creek, Monroe area, number 2. Peach County, number 3, and definitely a team to look for. Jefferson's at 4. Troop, Upson Lee, Long County, LaGrange, who we got a chance to see at Corky Kell, the Dave Hunter Classic, they look good. Stevenson from DeKalb County, and number 10, Mary Persons. Craig, quickly, let's move down to 2A, where we've got Pierce County on top.
So if you look at the rankings right there, Milton in 5A, Pierce County in 2A, those are the only 2 that have been consensus number 1s in our poll and all the other 5 each week since the start of the season. So Pierce County has a grip on 2A, but there's some surprising teams. Morgan County with Coach Jenkins. He has really done a great job, and they beat Oconee County. That is a rivalry. Oconee County used to own it. Morgan County got the big win. And then also in the top 10, you have a big matchup coming up. Cook against Callaway. Both have had a tough start playing some higher classifications, but they're going to get to go head-to-head this week. It'll be a big game to watch.
All right, that's Class 2A, Pierce County on top. Stevens County Pierce County, Stevens County number 2, Morgan County number 3, Carver, Columbus, Appling County, Burke County, Sumter County, a lot of counties, Cook, Rockmart, and Callaway. And then we're real quickly going to go over Class A Division I. We've got Toombs County, Dublin, Thomasville, Bleckley County, Fitzgerald, Fannin County, Model, Raven County, Bremen, of course, and then Coosa. And then we've got Class A Division II, which is Bowden. Is it Bowden or Bowden?
Bowden.
Bowden,
Yes,
right.
sir.
Irwin County, Seminole County, Manchester, Clinch County, Greene County, Brooks County, Treon, Metter, and Shiley County. And then, of course, what's a very interesting classification, and that's the new Class A through 3A private school one. Savannah Christian will have them playing BT coming up pretty soon. So we've got Savannah Christian, Hebron Christian. You keep Prince Avenue Christian at 3 despite the loss, tough loss to BT. Athens Academy, Fellowship Christian, Calvary Day, Lovett, Wesleyan, North Cobb Christian, Trinity Christian. I'll tell you what, guys, that right there, A through 3A, the semifinals should be really incredible.
It really is. And so it is split. Savannah Christian's technically in Class A Division I, but they're going to go to that private division. Something to watch, though. You have the number 1 team in Class A Division I, Toombs County, number 1 in the A private, Savannah Christian. They're going to close the season together. So they split it, but we're going to probably get to see a number 1 versus number 1.
All right, so that's this week's rankings. Coming up next, Kenny Mullins of IBEW and Randy Beall of GeorgiaConstructionsCareer.com will be in the studio to talk about their support of the Daily High School Sports Show.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, I want to welcome everybody back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613. And speaking of IBEW, we got Kenny Mullins from IBEW and, of course, Randy Beall from GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. And I will tell you right now that we would not be here without these two guys. So I want to tell you from both myself at Score Atlanta and Atlanta News First, thank you, because we feel like this daily high school show is something special, and because of y'all's support, we're able to do it. And of course, Kenny, you are the title sponsor of the show. Why was it important for you to get IBEW sort of involved on a daily basis?
Well, number one, a high school athlete embodies our principles of the IBEW. So if they don't go to the next level, they get what we do: communication, unity, commitment, showing up every day on time, doing what you're supposed to do to pick up your teammates and just be a part of something bigger than yourself. So, and anytime we can get out in the community and help our future generations, we're all on board to do it.
Yeah, and Kenny, IBEW, and we'll talk a little bit about this because I want to ask Randy a question real quick, but we work with the National Guard, and we've worked with them for probably close to the 21 years that we've been in business at Score Atlanta, but there's a lot of similarities into the type of kids that GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and IBEW and sheet metal and iron workers go after. And Randy, of course, you sort of started all of this by sponsoring Corky Kell, Dave Hunter Classic, and then, of course, Drive for the GHSA state title. But Randy, talk a little bit about, because y'all are a little bit different. You're a union, but you sort of oversee the IBEWs and the sheet metals, and you work closely with them, helping them, and one of the ways, helping them with marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Georgia Construction Careers, also known as Atlanta and North Georgia Building Trades Council, is a, let's just call them the parent, if you will, of all construction unions. Our job is to market, to promote, to help them and facilitate work, get more work. That's our job. And so, we take it very seriously. We also run an academy that helps minorities and women get into the trades. So that's our role, and I think we're doing a good job in getting more and more recruits every year for those unions.
And Randy, talk about every Friday afternoon, because traffic in Atlanta is terrible, but you've got a big responsibility in what you do. So tell everybody for the Drive for the GHSA state title, sort of what you do every Friday for.
This year is a little bit easier because last year we had a 32-foot trailer we was dragging around, and this year it's a little smaller, 16-foot. But it starts with Roddy and the producers going out and doing site visits and telling us where we're going to park things, and then really it starts on Thursday. We try to get that thing out there on Thursday, get it through the hopefully not Friday day traffic, but and then get it set up. It's an all-day event on Friday. I think people see the production of a TV, the TV program, the football, and they think it just happens. Those folks, including myself, but the TV crew and everybody else is, they're there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for an 8 o'clock kick, and it don't end until 12 or 12:30, and it takes a lot of people to pull this off. And so, kudos to you and to your group, and it's fun for us until about week 5, and then it's really taxing and tiring, but it's so rewarding. And I've learned a lot. I was not engaged much in high school football until we started this process, and I'm amazed at just the level of commitment the teams have, the parents have, the bands, all of that. I mean, it's such a good level of competition, and not just in football. I see competition in the fans, I see competition in the bands, all across the spectrum. Everybody, absolutely.
Randy Beall, GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Kenny Mullins from IBEW Local 613. Kenny, take us through the process, okay? So I'm in 12th grade at Milton High School. College, not really for me, okay? But I would love to learn the trade of electrician. Take us through how that works for that kid, what he does, first step through when he becomes a full-fledged electrician.
So first off, you'll go to our website. We have a link on there to apprenticeship school. Once you take an entrance exam that gets you into the apprenticeship school, you'll start your classes. We're on a semester period, so you'll have a fall semester and a spring semester. And you go to work. We give out scholarships annually. We give out some scholarships for students to be able to attend and get in and learn the trades. And so you start working, and you have to have 2,000 hours of on-the-job training every year. We're a 4-year apprenticeship, so that's a total of 8,000 hours that you have before you become a journeyman wireman. While you're going through that process, you're going to class every other week. You go 1 day every other week to class as an apprentice to get the knowledge you need to be an IBEW electrician. So it's a 4-year process. It's book work. You need to be strong in algebra. If you're not, we got other pathways that you can go through to get to the journeyman wireman status. But it's just, you know, going to work, coming ready to learn, being a team player, and putting into the industry what you want to get out of it, and being committed.
And Kenny, talk about the financial part, and you know, because that to me is a very impressive thing for kids, to know before they go in or make a decision on their career path.
Yeah, so it's no cost on our scholarships. If you get awarded the scholarships, the only thing you have to carry are your books. And you're learning a craft that you'll be able to keep and carry with you forever. The money is very good money. Once you become journeyman wireman, you make a great living and you have a career. In the IBEW, you can work in 950 different local unions across the United States. And so it's a very lucrative career based on where you work. Starting out, you'll be around 50 a year, 50,000 a year as an apprentice. But one of the big things that I like to tell everyone when I'm talking to them is pensions. Most of your parents still don't have pensions. Everybody goes to a 401k. A 401k is just an ad hoc savings. We still have a pension where your employer pays your pension.
And Randy, talk a little bit, tell us quickly the story, of the cars and how y'all are helping kids, because some kids, come and, they don't have transportation.
Sure, at Georgia Building Trades Academy, we started a program, 4 Wheels for Work, and that's helping minorities and women who don't have that transportation piece. We've given away 7 cars. That's really been the highlight of my career. If you want to know the truth about it, I enjoy that work so much, and we're changing lives there. And, all the other apprenticeships really work very similar to what Kenny just said. They're all 4 or 5 year programs. 6-figure incomes is now becoming the norm. And, we're surpassing college graduates in a lot of percentages anyway, and as far as income goes. And it's very simple. We're after people who want to come to work every day, work hard, make a good living. And there's a lot of satisfaction to our work, IJ, because, at the end of the day, you can look back and see something that you accomplished. And there's a lot of jobs that don't have that, right? I mean, you may work on something for months before you see it close. We get to see it every day. And another important part is, our folks are going to work every day with one common goal, and that is to finish the project they're on. And, we every time we pick a hammer up, it does that.
Randy, I want to thank both you and Kenny for coming on IBEW and GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Next, we'll take a look at Mr. Georgia Watchlist. We'll also talk to Todd Holcomb of the Georgia High School Football Daily.
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me, can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
A journeyman with Local 85 when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back, we're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
The Mechanical Trades Institute is an opportunity towards personal financial freedom through hands-on and rewarding work. Our school is completely free and gives apprentices the knowledge and skills required to gain access to a lifelong career path. Apprentices learn pipe fitting, plumbing, mechanical service, and welding. They earn money as they learn and graduate with no student debt. Start a career with the Mechanical Trades Institute and change your financial future.
Welcome everybody back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613. Najee Wilkins, Craig Sager, myself, IJ Rosenberg here on the Peachtree Sports Network. Scoreland is about all kinds of new possibilities. These guys, we do different things every day, it seems like. And we've got a new football and flag awards evening that we're going to be doing December 8th at the Teamsters building. That's down by the Lakewood Amphitheater. It's a tremendous facility for this. We'll have 1,000 people, and we'll introduce among other awards, a Mr. Football and a Mrs. Flag Football. Flag, of course, starts in October, and we'll do a flag watch list when they start playing. But right now we're doing a Mr. Football watch list, and Najee and Craig are handling this for us. I think we had, Craig, about 17, 18 of them? That's right. At the lunch that we had in Marietta for the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic. And Craig, can you start with us for the first 5? We got 10 of them right now, and of course the first one on the list is really the kid that everybody's looking at here, and that's the quarterback from Carrollton.
Yeah, and what I like about Juju, the first time we ever saw him as a freshman, he got better as the season went on. He took another step next year, and then this last game, 30 of 35 passing, 5 touchdowns through the air, and I went back and looked. I think that was his first ever rushing touchdown. So it looks like he's starting to really get comfortable with some of his new pieces, and that is an exceptional performance right there.
And you want to keep going through the list? Elias Williams in Camden County.
So the big question with Elias, 6'7" frame, how is he going to be used with his new head coach, Travis Rowland, who came in from Florida? And he's already 1 reception shy of his entire total from last year. He had 10 catches in the last game. He's leading the team in receiving yards. He is really becoming a staple of this Camden County offense. And as you saw, South Georgia is well represented in that top 10. Camden County is having a great start. Speaking of South Georgia, though, Elijah Griffin. Savannah Christian is a great team, and he is the #1 rated prospect in the state. The defense has been lights out. They just got another shutout last week, and what I like about this, Elijah's coming up to Roswell in 2 weeks. He's going to be taking on Fellowship Christian. You're going to get to see Josh Petty and Elijah Griffin, and then he's going to take on Blessed Trinity. So if Savannah Christian continues this run, gets a state title with the defense allowing just like 6 points per game, Elijah's got a really good chance of winning this thing.
All right, and then quickly, the last 2 players, the running back from Lee County and, of course, Ben Brown from Wesley.
Yeah, watch out for Osman Chroma. He has the ability to take a ton of carries. Fortunately for Lee County, they haven't had to use him a lot. He's still averaging 10.2 yards per carry. I think he's got 5 touchdowns at this point, averaging 126 yards per game. But, man, he can really go off once they need him in these tough region games. Probably the hardest guy to tackle in the entire state.
Najee, you want to move to the next 5, starting with Tay Harris from Cedartown, the athlete?
So Tay Harris has had a dominant start to the season. 200 yards in the game, broke off a 75-yard run, and had 4 touchdowns. He really did his thing. He's been electric. Lagonza Hayward, 5 catches, 109 yards. He's been doing his thing as well and has been really, really explosive. My favorite receiver right now, I also like C.J. Wiley, but Travis Smith Jr., he had 6 catches in the past game, 110 yards, and he also had a touchdown. Houston County quarterback Antoine Hill, he had over 250-plus yards passing, had 4 touchdowns in here, and he also gave us an electric debut when they played Alpha Run. And last but not least, at number 10, you got Warner Robbins. They got a victory, 34-12, and Isaiah Gibson had 2 sacks. So those are my standouts. Those have been put on big performances.
So every week the watch list will change, and then of course at the end on December 8th, we'll have 5 guys sitting there, and we'll name one of them Mr. George, and you can check that out on scoreatl.com. We want to introduce Todd Holcomb from the Georgia High School Football Daily. Of course, that sounds familiar because we sort of stole the name from him and took out football and put in Storch Todd, so we appreciate that. We don't want to see any cease and desist. But Todd, of course, is an old friend of the AJC. Both of us were back there starting in the mid-1980s, and Todd does a tremendous job on that morning newsletter. He's also the historian for Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame. And Todd, I know a couple of things that you wanted to talk about this morning. Y'all named a player of the week, and that was Houston County wide receiver Isaiah Mitchell.
Yeah, we did. And first of all, let me say it's a shiny, nice studio. Congratulations for that. And when you and I were first together at the AJC in the 80s, I didn't imagine we would be on TV. But congratulations for that. But yeah, Isaiah Mitchell was our player of the week. We do a state player of the week every week, and we go out and present the award at their school. And Isaiah Mitchell, I think Najee just mentioned the quarterback AJ Hill on the watch list, and he had 4 TD passes. All of them went to Isaiah Mitchell. He had 10 receptions, 192 yards, 4 touchdowns. Also played both ways. He played cornerback, and he came on a quarter blitz and had a sack that kind of sealed the victory. They beat defending 4A champion Perry 31-17. And interesting thing about him is he didn't play last season. He had transferred, and then when he got to Houston County, he found out he was a credit short. So had to sit out, and he just kind of became like an assistant coach almost. He couldn't practice, but the coach feels like it matured him, and he's having a tremendous season. The week before, he had about 200 yards receiving. So I think he's second in the state, as best I can tell right now, in receiving yards, and way ahead of most everybody else.
Todd, your offensive line of the week was Marist.
Yeah, offensive line. We do one of those as well, and plug to Georgia Construction Careers because they're one of our sponsors for that. Yeah, it was Marist, and of course they beat Woodward Academy 38-0, and they had over 300 yards rushing. They only completed 2 passes, didn't need to. And understand, I mean, Woodward's got a lot of D1 players and bigger players, but Marist, under their offensive line coach, Dan Perez, just they fundamentally block better than anybody. Another interesting thing about this line is our line of the week, the very first week, was Langston Hughes, and they had all 5 of their starters were over 300 pounds. Marist line, their average is 220 pounds. They have 2 guys under 200 pounds on their offensive line, and they're ranked number 1 in 4A and putting up over 300 rushing yards a game.
And whether it was coincidence or not, Todd, you did the Q&A today with Dan Perez, the offensive line coach. What did he have to say that was interesting?
Well, Dan Perez, one of the best assistant coaches, maybe the best line coach.
And a great baseball coach, by the way.
And that as well. He won 2 state titles in baseball. He's been at Marist. Well, he's a quarterback there in the 80s, and he came back to work there as an assistant coach in 1989. He's been with Coach Alan Chadwick ever since. And just the love of coaching. And, his most interesting quote was, the lower man wins. That's the blocking philosophy, not man-to-man all the time when you have a size disadvantage, but double team, stay low, get the job done.
Todd, before we let you go and you talk about tomorrow and what you're going to have in the daily, tell us how you and Chip Say get this done. Of course, y'all have got Ted Langford, all 4 of us were at the AJC. Ted, of course, was an editor to begin with and moved into sales. But just talk about the amount of work that y'all have to get done every day and how that's done.
Yeah, I mean, people will often say things like, good job by you and your staff. We really don't have a staff, except for me and Chip pretty much doing it
I know
every day.
Najee interned for you a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And Najee was great, man. He was covering games every Friday night. I'm not sure he knew how much he liked high school football until he did that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And just one quick note on tomorrow. We have a list of NFL players from Georgia in our newsletter tomorrow. 150 players from Georgia. 1 in 12 players you watch on TV in an NFL game is a former Georgia high school player.
Can you give us a hint on who that team or which high school team has the most NFL players on it?
Currently, yeah, let me think. I believe it is a tie with Norcross, Peachtree Ridge, and Hillgrove with 4 apiece.
And of course, we've got the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame coming up. Todd writes all the bios and is extremely involved in the board as a historian and the ballot and everything like that. But Todd, want to thank you for coming on. We're going to, like I said, we're partnering with the Georgia High School Football Daily, and we're really excited about it. So Todd, thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, next we'll be back and we'll talk a little middle school football. All right, I want to welcome everybody back to the inaugural show for the Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW 613. And for our final segment today, we'll kick it off. We're going to kick off our middle school coverage. We're going to be doing a lot of high school coverage, but we're also going to be doing a ton of middle school coverage. People don't realize that on Saturdays are for college football and middle school football. So I want to introduce Alex Benson of Born to Compete. Score Atlanta and Born to Compete have forged a special relationship that we'll talk a little bit more about on future shows. But when it comes to middle school sports, Alex is certainly at the top of the list. Alex, first of all, welcome. We appreciate you coming in.
Man.
It's good. It's always good seeing you. We've known each other for a long time.
Yes, we have.
But tell everybody what Born to Compete is.
Yeah, I think it's like to say the best way to describe Born to Compete is look at it as a youth sports media company. Very similar to what you guys have going on, except we cover the young guys. So we start from 6-year-old and we go all the way up to 8th grade. Then we kind of follow them as they progress in high school and college.
But y'all do rankings and
we do
and a lot of different things for school. So I know those middle school players are always looking to that every week.
Yeah, we do our rankings, which come out weekly, Player of the Week. We also have our gala where we celebrate the best of the best. We have our championship series where we try to bring in the best teams from around the state of Georgia so they can play. And we have our All-American game as well, which I know you're excited about. So we can hopefully get it on air this year. So, you know, those would be the things that are main things that we push.
Well, you know, when I was at Lakeside High School in the 1970s,
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to play for Wayman Creel. He was a great football
Yes,
coach.
yes, heard him.
But we didn't have a middle school program. We actually came out of a rec program. It was called Briarcliff Community Sports. There was a big group of teams in the metro area back then. But it's crazy how it's changed, hasn't it? Because up in Gwinnett County, you'll see 3rd and 4th grade teams wearing Parkview and Brookwood jerseys and different things like that. So talk a little bit about the change and sort of how that all started and when it started and everything.
Selfishly, can we take credit for that?
Yeah,
I really feel like we can on that one.
Absolutely.
You know, look, a couple of years ago, people weren't paying attention to middle school sports like that when we started. And when we came in and we were able to not only put a spotlight on the kids, but identify talent at an early level, right? And once you identify that talent and they go on to become good players, now coaches pay attention. Now coaches are saying, hey, who's the next guy that's coming up? Because if you can get a freshman or whoever in your program, an 8th grader, let's say in your feeder program, that's really good and wants to come to your school, now you got something. And years have passed and, you know, look at the players, right? Trayvon Walker, Trevor Lawrence, look at Julian. Julian's doing well. Caleb Downs. So those players and more come through our system, and we've been fortunate. And so that's kind of what you see now. That is the thing. They want to get the players early, get them in, learn their system, and hopefully develop into the high school system.
Oh, and you know, Alex, I was at Centennial. I was coaching for the 6th, 7th, and 8th
Were
grade
you?
team. I coached with a guy named Lee Jenkins. Who
What'd
was
you run?
a great player.
What office did you run?
Pro set.
Yeah?
He just ran a lot of pro sets, I
Okay.
mean, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. But 2 players we had Alvin Kamara,
Yes.
okay, who was
Yes.
a pretty good player for the
Yes.
New Orleans Saints.
Good player.
We also had Peyton Barber.
Very good player.
Who was
Yes.
a good player in the NFL. We had a couple other players that got Division I scholarships.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting. People asked me a lot about Alvin back then. And Alvin was an interesting kid. You know, he came from, you know, basically his mother raised him, okay, and not from the United States. And I remember helping them out a lot and stuff like that. But I remember seeing Alvin's raw talent. But for me to sit there and tell you that he would be Rookie of the Year, I would never think so.
Yeah. You know what? Here's how I tell it, people. You're going to notice something special about the kid when they're young. Like, I'm sure you noticed something special about Alvin when he was young,
absolutely.
right? So let's say me with Trevor. Like, that's the name everybody knows. So with Trevor, I'm watching Trevor. He's playing his all-star game. He's in 6th grade. Trevor's on the opposite hash, throws an out route on the rope, 10 yards, right? And you have to understand, put things in perspective. He's a 6th grader throwing an out route to the opposite sideline on a rope. When you see a kid do that at a young age, you meet their parents, dad's about 6'7", mom, you know, good height. So you see the talent is there, something special is there. Now we just have to make sure this young man stays on the right track and he'll be able to achieve his dreams for whatever that may be.
Talk a little bit about your son. I know you're excited about him. He's coming off a big game. Tell us a little bit about him.
Wow. Smart kid, knows where to go with the ball, played quarterback a long time, a lot of reps. Played in the Parkview system when he was younger with Coach Godfrey. And the great thing about him is Coach Godfrey was his actual coach, right? So now he's at Creekside, and they played the number 1 team in South Carolina, West Side. Rough half, first start, right? But then gets going, ends up with like 306 passing, 120 rushing, had a good game. We fell short as a team, unfortunately. Individually, very proud of him. And, you know, now we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. He's a junior.
Oh, he's a junior.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what, you know, real quickly, what type of things are you trying to help him with so he can make that next step?
Yeah, I think here's the one thing I tell parents. Build a village around your kid because you can't do everything, right? So for me, it was about making sure he was at the right high school for him with a scheme that fits him. And since he does want to go play college football, have coaches that believe in you that can put you out there. And so you can play college football no matter what level that is. So those are a lot of things I've done with him to prepare him. And then also, too, we have our quarterback trainer. I try to make sure he eats properly, try to make sure he sleeps, and not do dumb stuff.
Well, Alex, we look forward to having you because we're going to have a lot of you. We're thinking about doing a middle school show on PSN.
There you go. There you go. So we are.
Oops, sorry about that. Thanks for coming in for the for the inaugural show. We've got a big game Friday night on Drive for the GHSA state title, which is brought to you by GeorgiaConstructionsCareer.com. That's Cartersville at Calhoun, so make sure to tune in that on PSN, and you can get all that information on Score ATL. We want to thank everybody for joining us for our first version of the Georgia High School Football Daily, powered by the IBEW Local 613. Remember, you can watch an encore edition of this show on the Peachtree Sports Network tonight, 11 p.m. You can also be able to see it anytime on our Score Atlanta YouTube channel. So from all of us at Score Atlanta Studios in Roswell, I want to thank Alec Carey for producing. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow at noon.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off. Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting GoGCSO.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.
Basic combat training is a 10-week experience that will challenge you both physically and mentally. Each phase of your training will introduce you to new soldier skills, building and advancing them along the way. You and your fellow soldiers will work as a team to accomplish each mission, overcome each obstacle, and earn the right to wear the black beret of an Army National Guard soldier.